This is a video which I have done in the past, so I'm just repeating this because many people ask for it. Is how do you master investing, or what are the questions to ask for mastering investing? So first question is, what is it? Is it equity? Is it debt? Is it cryptocurrency? Is it animal farm? What is it? So right, so the answer to that is, do you understand what that person is saying? If he says cryptocurrency, you have heard the word cryptocurrency, doesn't mean you understand, doesn't mean I understand what is cryptocurrency. So I say, oh, it's a cryptocurrency, I don't understand, so I stay away. Or I say I don't understand, so I will learn. Or third, I say I don't understand, but since it is being offered by a mutual fund, I'm assuming there is a fund manager, SEBI has seen what it is and SEBI has approved it, therefore I will put a small amount of money into this cryptocurrency, right? So these are 2-3 ways of reacting to it, but first of all you have to understand what it is, because if you do not understand what it is, that causes the maximum amount of damage. There are people who do not understand how a chit fund works, there are many people who do not understand how a mutual fund works. So they put 1 lakh, and after 3 months, if they see the value at 98,000 or 94,000, then they want to withdraw, saying, there is some problem. In my bank FD, the value never changes. In the mutual fund, it has changed. You never told me that, and they will remove the money. Nothing right or wrong, but if you do not understand what you are doing, it is bound to happen that you withdraw completely at a wrong time. This has happened. I have seen big trusts doing that, right? At the onset of COVID, one trust withdrew on the worst possible day. They withdrew about 4 crores, and I was the advisor called me and said, will you please speak to the trustee? The trustee told me, if it falls like this every month, then in 1 year my money will be wiped out. Now this is such a stupid argument, but that came from the fact that the owner or the trustee just did not understand how equity market operates, or how any market operates. He was a businessman, and there is nothing that I could do to salvage that amount. So these things can happen. So you decide how to react based on how much you understand and what you will do if you don't understand. You don't understand equity is fine. Somebody told you putting money in an index fund will work. Yes, maybe it will work, but you have to understand that there will be fluctuation, there will be huge standard deviation and all those things. So be ready for it. At least understand those things before you invest. If you don't understand any of those things, maybe you should stick to a bank fixed deposit. There's nothing else that you should be investing, because everything, real estate, gold, equity, everything will have a high standard deviation. If you don't understand standard deviation, it means you don't understand investing, right? That it is that bad. The second question to ask is it investing? Is it speculating? Is it gambling? Right? Make the distinction very clear, and the distinction comes from asking how long do I have to hold it, what is the upside, what is the downside, right? These are all important questions. Is it gambling or is it speculation? Right? You have to know the difference between the three, and then the question is, how long do I have to hold? What is the upside and how long do I have to hold? What is the downside and can it go to zero? Right? Some investments can never go to zero. Like if you buy an annuity, it can never go to zero. You will get a pension for the rest of your life. Even if you live till the age of 114, you will keep getting a pension, right? That's what it says, for your lifetime. So can it go to zero? Is it possible that I withdraw and it becomes zero? I'm doing a systematic withdrawal and it goes, can it go to zero? What is the downside? What is the downside that if I do not touch and it can still go to zero? What is the lock-in? Is there a period of time for which I just cannot withdraw, right? Is there a period of time for which I cannot withdraw, and is there a period of time in which if I withdraw I will pay a withdrawal penalty, right? Exit load. Do I pay an exit load? How much is the exit load? How much can it be? Right? Ask these questions, because you don't ask these questions and say, oh, the advisor cheated me. Advisor didn't cheat you. Maybe the advisor didn't know, right? But you didn't ask. You cannot be guilty. You cannot be innocent saying, I didn't ask and therefore he didn't say. He is not duty bound to say. He may not even know that these are the questions to ask. What happens if your advisor himself doesn't know that these are the questions to ask? So ask these questions: what is the upside, what is the downside, what is the lock-in, what is the exit penalty, right? Can it be inherited? Is there a nomination possible? Should I make it joint with my wife? Should I make it joint with my husband? Whatever, ask all those questions. What are the advantages, what are the disadvantages, what happens if I don't have a nominee, right? If I don't know whom to nominate, should I make my children joined with this, or should I make them only nominees? What is the risk? Is it possible that there is a fraud and the whole money is lost, right? Ask these questions, because you don't ask, nobody tells you, and then you say, oh, nobody told me. Nobody is duty bound to tell you. You're bound to know many of these things. You're bound to know that equity has standard deviation. Not every advisor is going to remind you that equity has standard deviation. If you tell him or her that you have been investing for a long time, that person will assume that you understand what is equity. Many people don't, right? So it is completely up to you and the advisor to decide at what level you want to start talking about, right from base level, or you assume that, oh, I'm in 5th standard and address me like a 5th standard kid, or are you a KG class kid? Also, in many fields, they show projected returns, right? If you're trying to buy a unit linked policy, they'll show you 30 years return. So then you ask him or her, what is the risk of using historical returns? Will it always happen? Will it not happen? What is the probability of it happening? Do I have to review it every 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, right? Ask those questions. And are you saying that this will definitely happen? Or is it a cost illustration, or is it a return illustration? How are you saying this will definitely happen? Like, for example, there can be an insurance policy where that is the sum assured. It can be an extremely small amount, but that sum assured you will get if on maturity. It may be a small amount, right? But you will get that amount. That's very important. You will get a bonus at the end of the period. Those are the advantages. Disadvantages I'm not getting into, but at least understand the product that you are buying. Also understand that every asset class has a different reason why it will do well or not do well. If India grows very well, Indian equity markets will do well, so will debt. But if India doesn't grow, but internationally there is growth, those companies which are in exports will do well. If there is an international slowdown and therefore a lot of money comes into India, therefore Indian markets will do well. So understanding the difference in the macro, ask these questions. Is it possible that I'll get a sub bank rate, right? I'm getting 7% in the bank over the next 10-20 years. Will I get a rate less than 7%? Will I get a rate of 42% one year and a minus 4% the next year? Will all the standard deviation happen? What is the risk that it happens in the initial stage and therefore it screws up my total return that I get in this product? Ask all these questions. These are all questions which one should be forced to ask, because if you don't ask, nobody is going to answer those questions. If there's a bond fund, is there anything called holding a bond fund to maturity? Is it different from holding a bond to maturity? People, if you don't know this, right, then there are many people who do not know that when you say direct scheme, it means going to the website of the mutual fund and investing. That is a direct scheme. But investing through ICICI Direct is not investing in a direct scheme. Believe it or not, many people do not know the difference. So ask these questions, equip yourself before you start investing, right? What is the maximum downside risk? What is the upside risk? What happens if I bought 42%? Should I withdraw and put it somewhere? Will you be there to give me advice, or am I on my own after I buy the product? No harm in asking this question also, because if he's a RM in the bank, he's bound to leave the bank in a year or 2 or 3, and this product. Also, for a beginning investor, I think you should pick up a glossary. I mean, my book has a glossary, but you can pick up a glossary from somewhere. Maybe it could be available free online, and understand all the terminology that is used. Understand what that person says. I ask the person that when the market fluctuates, what will you do for me? When you're selling this product, which is a third-party product, and you are a bank, but tell me, whom should I get in touch with in the current concerned mutual fund or insurance? Will somebody there be able to guide me when there is a fall? Should I be investing more, or should I switch between debt and equity? What should I do? Who will be there to guide me? Because I'm sure that you will not be there. So when you ask a investment advisor all these questions, he will take you seriously or she will take you seriously. Say some of these answers I have, some of these questions I have an answer for, some of these questions I do not have an answer for, but at least you will be sure that the client that the advisor is not taking you for a ride, and then if you think you still don't want to buy it, then you say, oh, my cousin works for JP Morgan or Morgan Stanley or anybody and says he's a derivative trader in Singapore. This sounds intimidating enough, and say I will talk to him or her and then only get back to you. And another cousin is an attorney in New York and she deals with these kind of products regularly, so I will ask both of them, so please send me an email. I'll send it to both of them and they will have a look at it, and then I will take a decision. This is one of the best ways to push an RM and force him to perform. But largely all these questions are not meant just for the RM, these are meant for you. Do you understand the answers? That is another thing. If somebody says, oh, 24% upside and 0% downside or 6% downside, do you understand whether 24 and 6 are right? Alright, so all these questions you have to ask, and you have to equip yourself to be able to understand the replies. You don't want to do this, you don't want to do any of these things, best go to a UTI index fund and do an SIP and keep learning. After you finish learning, come back, watch some of my other videos and start investing. Thank you.